But speaking of fire,
Mm.
here's another movie that brought the heat.
Yes. Heat. Yeah. This was a movie at my suggestion. Um, because mainly a couple of reasons. One, I haven't watched it in about 15 years. And one of the stars of the movie is Val Kilmer, who sadly passed away a couple of weeks ago.
The dearly departed. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. And it's one. I don't want to say one of my favorite movies, but I would definitely put it like somewhere in the. Well, I'd put it somewhere in the top 10, maybe lower top 10. Um, I didn't watch it until I was in college, and I'm kind of glad I did because I don't know if I would have gotten an appreciation for it if I watched it when I was younger. It's a very adult story. Um,
Yeah, and it's also pretty deliberately paced. Like
yeah,
it is not afraid to linger on a scene to set a mood.
right. Yeah, yeah, and it is 3 hours long. So, um, but yeah, so Heat is the story of a robber or professional thief named Neil McCauley, and he's played by Robert De Niro. And he's got his own crew of thieves who work with him. One of them is Val Kilmer's character, Chris, right? Yeah, Chris. Um, uh, and a couple other people, Tom Sizemore's character, Michael Chirito, and then also Danny Trejo is in there. He's the getaway driver.
Which wasn't his name in the movie actually Trejo?
Yeah, it was.
No, that got my attention. Like, wait, did I mishear that? Is that just really on the nose?
Yeah. Well, they probably didn't know what to call the characters. So, I'll just call him Trejo. I'm like, okay.
Yep. And tracking these people down is Al Pacino.
Yes, Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, and he's got his own team of cops. One of them is, I can't remember the actor's name, but he was Bubba from Forrest Gump. And then the other guy played he was Sagat from Street Fighter.
Oh, that's a random appearance.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Although I don't think that's the first time we've stumbled across that guy in a movie, but I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah. Can't remember what it was either. And then the other cop was played by the Buffalo Bob, I think, was the character from the killer from Silence of the Lambs. Um, he was the bald guy with the mustache. But yeah, so basically the crux of the movie is the yeah, it's basically just it's a kind of a different take on the cops and robbers story, and the director of the movie, Michael Mann, who I think he was also the writer too. I want to say this was
I don't think he was. I looked it up a
okay.
little bit. Actually, no, never mind. Yeah, it was. So he wrote the script. He wrote it in 1979, and he actually got to make it into a TV movie called L.A. Takedown in 1989.
That's right. Okay. That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember if this was like a remake of something he did before, but yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
so basically getting to make the same overall story again, but with an R rating and a movie budget.
yeah, yeah. And for those of you who aren't familiar with his work, Michael Mann he was the creator of Miami Vice, and he also directed. What else did he do? Well, he directed the movie version of Miami Vice, which that was an awful movie. Um, and he directed like the Last of the Mohicans. Um, he did Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. I'm trying to see what. Oh, that's right. He directed Manhunter. That was the the original version of Red Dragon was another Hannibal Lecter story. Um, but yeah, and part of what he does with this movie is he kind of highlights that there's the similarities between the cops and the robbers, that their lives have kind of similar uh, trials and tribulations. So, like for instance, uh, Pacino's character is he's on his third marriage, which is slowly ending in divorce. He's got a stepdaughter who's played by Natalie Portman, and she's having a lot of issues. And you got De Niro's character, Neil McCauley, which I think there was actually a criminal named Neil McCauley that Michael Mann based the character on.
Yep, according to Wikipedia, at least.
Yeah,
It was based on an incident in Chicago.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, and he basically he lives his life. He has a minimalist house. He's got this beautiful house right there off the water, but he's only got like a couple of pieces of furniture. And he lives his life according to this axiom that he learned from like a mentor of his, who said, don't form any attachments with anybody or anything that you can't leave in 30 seconds if you spot the heat around the corner. And
he said it. He said the thing.
the thing, yeah. He says it a couple of times. But then of course he doesn't really take his own advice, because he ends up starting a relationship with a young woman who works at a bookstore. What's the name of the actress? I've seen her before. Amy Brenneman. And then of course, rounding it out, you got Val Kilmer's character Chris, who has a really bad gambling problem,
Which makes him kind of the loose cannon. Like there's even a scene where, like, it seems like the smart thing to do would be, "Hey, I think we've been made on this operation. We should back off." And he's like the one who votes to keep going because he needs the score.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, he's got a wife, Charlene, who's played by Ashley Judd, and they have a baby son, which just further adds to his problems. And of course, Charlene is cheating on him with Hank Azaria.
Man, tonight's theme really is cuckoldry. The only one that didn't have it was the innocent gag manga. Actually, no, the innocent slice of life manga. Ruri Dragon didn't have enough gags to qualify as a gag manga.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, and then basically the whole culmination is that they've got this big score that they've got lined up to rob this bank. It's got about $12 million in cash heading its way, and then which ended up leads to, in my opinion, one of the greatest shootouts in movie history.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned it, that they didn't ADR any of the gunshot sounds. That those were the actual gunshot sounds that they used on the filming day.
Yeah, which definitely gave it a more realistic quality, because they're running down the street. The sound is bouncing off the buildings and the other things in the area. So it's just this movie is extremely gritty.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and so after that, it just basically turns into a game of cat and mouse between Pacino and De Niro.
Yeah. Yeah, and also too, they have an iconic scene where they meet up and go have coffee together.
Right.
And yeah, basically just tell each other who they are and get to know one another.
Yep, and right, that scene definitely hammers home the whole, like, when you kind of get down to it, militaries and police are on some level a state-sanctioned gang.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they just have certain rules that they have to follow.
Yes. Yeah. And they're taking money from the American taxpayer.
Right? It's almost like the tame dogs you keep on hand to keep the wolves at bay,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, which is definitely the thesis of this movie.
Yeah. Um, and if my memory is correct, I believe Christopher Nolan used this movie kind of as a basis for The Dark Knight.
Okay, yep, I can see it like with all the scenes between the huge skyscrapers and
Yeah, and the dynamic between Batman and the Joker. Yeah.
yep, I can definitely see the influence now that you mention it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoy it every time I watch it. It's it kind of gives a peek into into this kind of world, and it's I don't know about you, but it doesn't feel like a 3 hour movie when I watch it.
Yeah,
Because like, I mean, when I watched when rewatched it this time, I thought, well, I'll watch about half of it today, and then I'll watch half the other half the next day, and then I paused it, and I'm like, oh, I'm already an hour 40 into the movie. Oh, I might as well just watch the rest of it.
get her done.
Yeah,
I don't think I didn't like it quite as much as you did. I
Mm.
did feel the length in a couple of scenes, but I think it's just because I like cop movies to have like a little more. Is pizzazz is the wrong word because like this isn't entirely a straight movie. Like
yeah,
because you got things like Al Pacino shouting about how when a woman has a big ass.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah. Well, the reason for why he has those like bombastic moments is because early drafts of the script, his character was supposed to have a cocaine problem. So those are the moments where he's supposed to be like high on cocaine.
which yeah, watching it with that knowledge would have made those scenes make a little more sense. I just thought he was like
Yeah.
I just thought it was the pressure,
Mm. That could be it too. Yeah.
but so it's like I liked a lot of the individual scenes. There was a scene between Pacino and his wife that I thought was really good, where he was kind of explaining what he was about.
Yeah.
And it's like you know, she's like, yeah, you have to open up to me. No, I don't. You don't want to hear about how, uh, oh hey honey, today I saw a baby in a microwave because his junkie father couldn't stop or couldn't make him stop crying.
Yeah.
And like there really is just like the awful things that the police have to deal with and see because
Yeah.
um, I can also see the influence on the Dark Knight with like the opening scene, like how that was like the sort of surgical precision of the robbery there.
Yeah. Yeah. And an interesting little bit of coincidence. The bank manager in The Dark Knight is in this movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
That had to be intentional.
I think it was. Yeah.
I think that, and also I will say that ending scene with the two of them chasing each other in an isolated part of the airport was a thing of tension and beauty.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When they're walking through and it's dark and they got to wait for the lights from the airplanes to land
Yeah.
so they can see. Yeah.
Um, I'll say my failure to connect with this movie is that it's kind of similar to when we watched The French Connection.
Mm.
Um, there is or if that matter, even like I'm not the biggest fan of The Dark Knight, which I know is heresy. Uh,
Yeah.
like when a movie hits a certain degree of like darkness, I just like starts tuning out because it's like, okay, whatever goodness is going to happen in this movie is going to be an afterthought or an accident, or it'll feel like the um, which is just a strictly emotional feeling. Like it's just like it weighs on me.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah, the ending of this movie, I think, definitely weighed on me because it's it's kind of the typical Hollywood ending, but in a way, it really isn't because it's like Yeah, the right person won, but you still kind of feel bad.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing is that I didn't necessarily like. I understood De Niro, and I thought he was a good villain, but I didn't really feel for him. Like so,
Mm,
uh, just because like what he does kills a lot of people.
yeah.
Like it's like the difference between like if you can be a gentleman thief and you go out there and you rob rich people of their valuables and live a high class life off of that. But if you replace that with murder, congratulations, you're a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got the feeling that they didn't want to kill people, but if they had to, they weren't afraid to.
Right. And also it wasn't now I think about it, it wasn't De Niro who caused the mass killing at the start of the movie. Like they were going to keep people alive until
Well, yeah, it
Wayne
was
Grow.
Wangro, yeah, who's a total, yeah, the total psycho. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, maybe I don't know. Now it was very interesting. This movie I know was like a big deal at the time because this was the first time these two actors collided when they had been such big crime movie actors all the way through the 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and it is interesting just how like De Niro is very subdued in this one,
He is, yeah.
which that's also interesting because it's like the police officer is the one who's erratic and has weird outbursts, and he has a falling apart personal life where De Niro is almost more like stoic, and he's like he doesn't have any unnecessary attachments, and he's kind of brought down by his desire for that last attachment.
Yeah.
Uh, There's also a lot of I also noticed a few moments of really interesting like visual symbolism. Like there's
Mhm.
a scene where De Niro seems to be escaping, going to the airport with his girlfriend, and they get into this super brightly lit tunnel that's like it's so light in there that everything seems like it's just washed out white except for the car. It's like I'm
Yeah.
clear, and that's like symbolizing how he's going into the light, everything is good.
Yeah.
And then he turns off, back into the darkness because he wants to get last bit of revenge on somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, while I didn't necessarily enjoy watching this movie that much, I damned if I don't respect it. Damned if there isn't a lot here to chew on and think about.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I would say that if you asked me, like, would you rather watch this, The French Connection again? I would definitely choose this.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's like this is a me problem, not a movie problem.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, if those of you are curious about it, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah, like again, statistically, you'll enjoy this more than I did.
yeah. Yeah.
It- this is basically this is basically asking the guy with a peanut allergy to rate his favorite Thai food. Well, they all taste like burning and swelling, but I guess I liked the spice mix on this one the most.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Well, on that note,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yes, thank you for watching.